Hello and welcome back to another video. In this video I'm going to be going through and trying to make a bare bones like a dialogue system for our character Purdue Pete. As you can see, I've already made these billboards for our locations that we can just slap on images for those specific Purdue statewide locations. I talked about that in a previous video. I'm gonna generally be doing kind of the same functionality for Purdue Pete. I'm gonna make him like a billboard that either follows the player or the camera, like these location billboards, and then place him around the map. And I've already started to make the actor, and I'm going to make it to where at least the goal is where I can interact with this actor or billboard once I get close enough by hitting the E key, and it will start up some dialogue with Purdue Pete. So that is what the plan is for this video, and I will make an update on my progress once I get that started. Okay, quick little update. So far I have got an interface working with this Purdue Pete actor. So far I made this BPI dialogue interface and I just used a function called talk. And I went to the top down character and I made an event where when the E key is pressed, it interacts with all overlapping actors and it implements that interface that I made, and I plug that in there. I also plugged in the blueprint for Purdue Pete in the class filter there, and I made a branch and just referenced that talk function in the BPI that I made here earlier. And for Purdue Pete, I gave him a sphere overlap called trigger zone, and I gave it a an interface, that same one, the BPI dialog one I made. I plugged that in, and so far I just have an event talk for that interface, and it prints strings. So that's what I have right now, and we're gonna test and see if that works. And hit E, and it prints hello up there, as you can see. So far it works. I'm going to take this a little bit further and hopefully try to make a widget for it so it pops up in the lower screen or something. So I will be back once I make some more progress on this dialog system. Okay, so I've made a little bit of progress. So I have made this little piece on the event graph. So basically, instead of that just normal print string I have it to where I made two different variables. I made a variable for dialogue, it's a string, it's an array, so it can pull from multiple different dialogue pieces. And then I added some dialogue down here, just like hello future prospect, blah blah blah, just random stuff. It's not necessarily what's going to stick in the game, it's just there to for functionality, but still gives a little bit of structure to what kind of we're going for. um I also made an integer for the talk index, like the number of things. I made it start at -0, I mean -1, because as you can see the dialogue starts at 0, so once you hit E, it will go from -1 to 0, so it will start, so it's not just always showing the dialogue there. And I have it, go from with the talk index. I set that, well, I got that, not set, but I got that to go up incrementally, and then have a branch to make it a condition down here to make sure the dialogue length is always less than or equal to the talk index. So this basically means once the dialogue has ended, it won't continue to go on, so we don't get any errors. And then I have it print stringing the dialogue here. So with all of this stuff, it should print everything in order after each key press. So there it is. So once you go up to them, you hit E. First piece dialogue there, second piece, third, fourth, fifth, end, and I'm hitting E and it's not doing anything, which is good. So that's what I've got. So that's the dialogue part of it finished. Now I'm gonna tackle the widget, the UI for it, so it's not just print stringing up there. So I'm gonna do that real quick, and I'll be right back once I have some progress or have the widget done. Okay, so I finished up the dialogue system. So the things that I added to finish it up decent, I put in the widget, I linked the widget, and I promoted this to variable and called it UI, and then I got that UI and made sure that is not valid, then it does this stuff, is valid, sets text. I also made it to where if this is false, then it removes the UI from its parent. So that means like the widget stuff that I made for the text to print on, it won't stay there after the text is complete. Once it's complete, it will destroy it. I also made this less than and not less equal to, because if it was less equal to, then it would take one more key press to destroy the widget. So you need to make it less than, so it destroys it right after that text is done. And I got the UI to target the text, and then that I made on this widget here. Made this widget, and I made the text, and I called it talk text, and I made sure that is clicked is variable so I could use it on my NPC or whatever you put it as. So then I can call to it with the UI that I made by promoting the widget to a variable. And then I just spruced up the UI. I gave it a background blur of like 5. I put on an image that's black with like an opacity of 0.2. And as I said before, I made that talk text. And with this line of code, it makes sure that the text that goes onto that talk text is from the dialogue array that we made previously. And I also set up a play sound functionality for whenever we make some sound for the dialogue, if we do. So just there and ready just for a sound to be plugged in. And then I just copied and pasted the thing from the billboard that I made in the previous video here so it can follow the camera. And that's about it. That is the dialogue system I made. Let's test it out real quick so you guys can see it work in game. Walk up to it. It follows the camera just like everything else does. Hit E, then it pops up the dialogue. And you can hit E to scroll through it at your leisure. Once it's done, destroys the widget. So a few glaring issues that I will have to fix with this is right now you can't retalk to the NPC. So I will have to look into how I can make it repeatable, because right now it's not repeatable. I'm sure it's just an easy fix, but I won't be getting to in this video. And I will have to see if the system can be copied to, or how I can make multiple NPCs using this dialogue system, or if I can, or if I have to remake it. So those are like the outstanding kind of issues, so to speak, with it. But other than that, it works really good. We can add as much dialogue to this as we want, change whatever we need, and I think it's a good basic bare bones for the dialogue system. And that's all. Hope you have a good rest of your day.